Hi sweeties, welcome to Life Layers with Dorcas. Relationships are supposed to make you feel safe, protected, loved, and supported. But what happens when these relationships begin to drain your energy, break your confidence, and in some cases even put your life at risk? Today, we're looking at 5 signs of a toxic relationship that you should never, ever ignore, and what you can do to protect yourself. You see, most times people act like they don't know what toxic relationship means. They act like they cannot recognize toxic relationship. They act like they don't even know that they are in a toxic relationship. They act like they don't even know that they have been toxic in their relationship. When this topic goes out, the people listening always are quick to assume the position of the victim while perceiving their partners as the toxic ones. But you see, today we are not doing that. If you are watching this, I want you to watch with an open mind. Do not watch this video with a closed mind or a biased mind, because I tell you what, if you're watching this with a biased mind, you have already exonerated yourself. You have told yourself that there's no way you are the toxic partner, that it has to be your spouse or your partner. But until you are able to view with an open mind, you may never come to resolve whatever toxicity that you are in or that exists in your relationship. There have been a lot of reported cases of violence in relationships that have all been traced to toxicity. You see, the thing with toxic relationship is that they are sometimes mistaken for love. Today we're looking at 5 signs of a toxic relationship and what you can do to protect yourself. Recently in Nigeria, a man from Anambra State known as Mr. Wana set his wife, mother of their 6 children, on flames based on unsubstantiated infidelity allegations. That woman, young in her youthful age, did not, unfortunately, survive the injuries. And then many people began to ask, what went wrong? How did love turn into hate? At what point did he begin to manifest such toxicity? How come she never acted? How come she did nothing early enough to protect herself, her life, and also save her kids the untold pains that they will be going through? This happened this year, January 2025. It is most unfortunate, but that is just one out of many cases of toxic relationships that are still existing. About 5 years ago, a young lady reached out to me for counseling. She was in a relationship. She was 7 at the time in Kaduna State. And then she reached out to me to tell me how her relationship had been very toxic. At the time, she was dating a young man who had become very possessive, extremely controlling, wouldn't let her meet with her friends, wouldn't let her see her family members, wanted her completely stuck with him, yet had little or no trust for her. Despite having her stuck, he didn't trust her. He would talk down on her, and he succeeded in eroding every confidence that young girl had in herself. And at the time she contacted me, she was a shadow of herself as far as confidence is concerned. She didn't believe in herself anymore. She second-guessed herself in everything. She didn't think she was good enough. Worst of all, she felt if she left that relationship, no one would ever appreciate her again. No one would ever take her as a girlfriend, let alone make her a wife. She felt less human, less of a woman. I made a lot of inquiries to understand how they got there, how the relationship was when he met her. Of course, the guy was sweet, loving, and he made her cut every relationship she had with her friends. He didn't stop there. He progressed to cutting the relationship she had with her family. He would constantly tell her that her siblings didn't mean well for her, her parents didn't mean well for her, and he succeeded in severing every tie she had with her family. And she was left to depend solely on him. It was then he unleashed the torture, emotional and otherwise. That young man went as far as bringing in other women into the house while she was with him. He reduced her to nothing. Now, let's go into the 5 signs of a toxic relationship that you should never ever ignore. It begins from the things you think are little, but it builds up. The number 1 sign of a toxic relationship is emotional manipulation. Oh my God. A toxic partner will play mind games on you. They would manipulate you. They will gaslight you. At some point in your life, you will begin to think you are actually crazy because they would make you think you are. Going back to the scenario of the young lady I spoke about earlier, she told me about how the young man she was in a relationship with would react whenever she complained about his actions that were causing her pains. An example was one of those days he let in another woman into the house and was all loved up with her despite his girlfriend's presence in the house. After the woman left, she tried to speak with him in the most polite manner that she could. He flared up and said she was overreacting. There was no big deal. She should know that she is the one he loves. He doesn't love the other women. He was just having fun with them. But she is the one he loves, and that is why he had her in his house. She had his spare key and she had access to his house whenever she wanted. But those other women do not have such access to his house. And so she should know that she is the number one, the one he cherished the most, the one he loves, the one he adores. Therefore, she should put up with all those excesses and never complain. A clear case of emotional manipulation. If you've watched this video thus far, why don't you take a moment to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. Also, hit the like button, share this video just to help someone out of toxicity in their relationship. Now, the solution for emotional manipulation is this: keep a journal, because they will mess with your mind to the point that you will begin to question your own reality. You would want to believe that you are actually crazy. So to help yourself in solving such issue, keep a journal of your reality, keep a journal of your truth, so that when they come with their manipulation, it will be for that face, but your truth remains and can be verified because you have written it down. It is verifiable. There are dates, there are names, and anything that could make your reality verifiable. Keep a journal. Do it unapologetically. It is a solution to emotional manipulation. Now, the second sign of a toxic relationship that you should never ignore is isolation from friends and loved ones. Like I stated earlier, a toxic partner understands how this works, and so they would use it to break you. A toxic partner will make sure that they isolate you from everybody that matters to you. Your family is no exception. At first, you will think that they are isolating you from friends that are not good for you, because that is how they will present it. Oh, this friend is not good for you. This friend is a bad influence for you. This friend this friend that. And sometimes some of the things that they have identified with such friends could actually be true. And you would fall for it and think they are doing it to protect you. After all, partners are supposed to protect each other, right? Especially for women, you would feel protected that, oh, he's your man and he's just looking out for you. He is protecting you. So you would think that is exactly how it will look at first, until it progresses to friends that have been nothing short of best friends, good friends, kind friends, helpful friends. And then you begin to wonder what exactly is happening here. It won't stop there. It will progress to your siblings. They will begin to make remarks like, oh, your siblings do not care about you, or your siblings do not respect you, your siblings try to control you, and stuff like that. They will just bring things to make you feel less compared to your siblings, and they will put ideas in your head about your siblings, ideas that are not true. You will begin to believe those things subconsciously. You see, the thing with toxic partners is that they have no boundaries. When they are done severing your ties with your siblings, they will graduate to sever your ties even with your parents. I know this may sound weird to some people who haven't experienced this, but trust me when I say some toxic partners go as far as preventing their spouses from seeing their parents for years. They make sure that they cut you off anybody that could support you, anybody that could be of help to you, anybody that could be a pillar. The idea is to form a dependency. They want you to be stuck with them. They want you to be completely dependent on them. And the solution to this, rebuild your connections as fast as you can. The moment you realize that your partner has deliberately occasioned situation to sever ties between you and your family, your friends, your loved ones, just to ensure that he or she rips you off your support system, rebuild your connections while you can. Because guess what? When they wake up tomorrow and decide they are done with you, they don't need you in their lives anymore, you would need those family members, those friends to lean on. The question is, will they be there at that point? And so rebuild your connections as fast as you can the moment you realize it. That is the solution for that. The third sign of a toxic relationship that you should not ignore is constant criticism. I understand that there are times that your spouse will criticize one or two things that aren't done right. But when it becomes constant, like a daily thing, then it is a red flag. And when I talk about constant criticism, I am talking about criticism aimed at putting you down, not aimed at uplifting you, not aimed at correcting you. There is constructive criticism. But the criticism I am referring to in this case is the one deliberately calculated to put you down, to make you feel less yourself, to break your confidence if you had any. That is the kind of criticism that you should know is a red flag. Such criticism could be criticizing everything you do. They will criticize the way you walk. They will criticize what you wear. They will criticize even your dreams. The aim is to have absolute control over you so that you have no mind of your own. It gets so bad in some cases that you can't even have an opinion over external things. They expect you to align with their opinion, whether or not you agree. Now, the solution to this is that the very moment you come to the awareness that this isn't normal, you need to know that this isn't love to begin with. And it is time to start seeking validation from within, not external, from within. It is time for you to start validating yourself. If you need to do positive self-talk a number of times a day, please do it. If you have to stand, look in the mirror and speak positively to yourself, to your life, do it if it uplifts your spirit. The fourth and most misunderstood sign of a toxic relationship is excessive jealousy. Excessive jealousy. Don't get it twisted. There is a healthy jealousy. In fact, healthy jealousy is expected in a healthy relationship. It's expected when you love someone, there should be some level of healthy jealousy. But when excessive, unhealthy jealousy steps in, it becomes toxic. Now, I need to clarify what excessive, unhealthy jealousy is, because some people would want to mix it up. I would do that with examples. Excessive jealousy could be a partner who is constantly accusing their spouse of infidelity, especially a spouse who has been faithful. They have no proof whatsoever, but they keep making unsubstantiated allegations of infidelity against their partners. Monitoring your every move. When you're on the call with family, they eavesdrop. They want to hear what you're saying. When you're on the call with friends, they eavesdrop. When you laugh with family, they question why you're laughing so loud. They question why you are so excited. When you laugh with friends, they question why you are so excited with friends. That is an unhealthy jealousy, a toxic jealousy. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. Do not become an unhappy person because your spouse is unhappy with you expressing happiness with other people. Do not become a bitter person because your spouse wants you to be happy only with them and unhappy with other people. Do not become hostile to other people because your spouse thinks that the only way you can show him or her your love or affection is to be mean to other people and to be cold to other people. Now, the fifth sign of a toxic relationship that you should not ignore: repeated cycles of conflicts. It is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you have a heated argument and afterwards it feels like a deja vu because you've had that episode over and over and over again. That is a sign of a toxic relationship. Now, for this particular one, there are a number of solutions that you must take seriously. The first one is that where you notice a pattern of repeated conflicts with your spouse, it may be time to confide in a third party that you trust. Please be careful about this option. I know you may be at that brink where you just want someone to confide in, you just want someone to speak to because you have held in for so long. But be very careful the third party you confide in. It could be a friend, it could be a spiritual leader, it could be a family member, it could be a therapist. However, I recommend strongly that you speak with a therapist. Have a safety plan, especially if you fear for physical harm. Have a safety plan. Where can you go to in any case of emergency? How do you exit the house in any case of emergency? How do you place a call? How do you raise alarm in any case of emergency? Now, you do this whenever you notice that this could get violent, when you sense that you could be harmed in the process. Then the third solution, and the most important one, is that focus on rebuilding your confidence. I can tell you that there is nobody who goes through a toxic relationship that remains the same. Oftentimes, their confidence drops to almost zero. So focus on rebuilding your confidence. How do you do this? By engaging in hobbies you love, reading the books you love. Just engage in things that brings you joy, in things that rebuilds your confidence. Relearn that thing you've always done that stood you out. Learn that thing you've always wanted to do. Rebuild your confidence. There is no better way to tackle a toxic relationship than rebuilding your confidence. And so, my sweeties, if no one ever told you this, let me be the first to tell you that you deserve a love that makes you feel safe, protects you, nurtures you, supports you, and not one that drains you, not one that breaks your confidence, and not one that puts your life at risk. If you've watched this video thus far, why don't you take a moment to hit the subscribe button? So guys, we've come to the end of this topic, 5 signs of a toxic relationship that you should never ever ignore, and what you can do to protect yourself. I would love you to drop a comment if you've ever experienced any of these signs. If you know someone who have experienced any of these signs, let's share in the comment section so we can learn from each other and help each other break free from every form of toxicity in our relationships. Remember to like this video, share, and hit the subscribe button for more content that layers life with truth and healing. That said, empower yourself with confidence. Confidence can be built. You can rebuild your confidence, and I expect you to start rebuilding your confidence from this very moment. I'll see you in my next one.